Hi folks, only me. I bought this the other day. I've already got one, so I don't need one. But it was the one I had put on a video of mine. A chap I know selling it. Well, he was selling it. It's sold now. And I said to him, get it running and, you know, we'll get it on Gumtree and that, and we'll get it sold for you. And when we had to clean the carburetor, and he brought it round here. I put the carburetor back on, and he put a new battery in it, kicked it over, and it fired, but it wasn't happy, and it started smoking, and it, you know, to me it was burning oil. So, you know, he offered it me for a price, and which was a bit high, I thought, because I thought I might have to have it rebored. No, it's not a Honda head, it's this here. What's that say? I can't say that. Some Japanese replacement. Not Japanese, Chinese, I think. Anyway, I looked it up on the internet. You can get the whole lot, the head, the barrel, the piston, for £65 with free postage. Even now, at least that's what it was being advertised. I actually looked it up after I bought the bike, because I thought at the worst I'd take it apart and I perhaps have to get it rebored, and you know, if the rings have been damaged and it damaged the ball, I might have to get it rebored. You know, it looks like this bike's had a lot of money spent on it. You know, it's got a new exhaust. It's not a proper Honda exhaust. I think it's like from Vietnam or somewhere, but it's quite nice. It sits a bit low on the bike. But generally, you know, it's got new spokes, new rims. I think that's probably original, the front mudguard. A lot of paint. This has all been painted. The frame's been painted. It's got your sticker been put on. It's nice. It's a nice looking bike. It's just not running properly. So I sent him off because I said I didn't want to buy it, because he wanted, you know, to me it was a bit of a risk, because I'm not keeping it, I'll be selling it. Anyway, he came back with another price, and in the end we did a deal, so it's now mine. And so actually I've got a few little jobs on other bikes at the moment, so it's probably going to take the back burner, but typical of me, I always looking ahead. Now, apart from the engine, which I will get sorted, I know I will. I mean, they're easy enough to work on. And especially if I can get a new one of those for around about 65, 70 quid or whatever, a new barrel. If it is that's causing the problem. It may just be running really rich, I don't know. I have got another carb. We did play with this carb, and the float valve seems a bit, the needle seems a bit sticky. Sometimes it lets fuel in, sometimes it doesn't. I'll have to get rid of that Jubilee clip. God knows why that's on there. Awful thing. And also, I'm going to a little tweak on this exhaust, get it sitting where it should do. What it should do for a British bike. And that's, I got this bracket off a chap on the Facebook page. So this has got to come up about 1.5 inches. And apparently if you hold this in the vise, give it a little tweak, it will come up. You might get a little, it might bend in a little bit if you're holding it in the vise. I'm going to use some wood and maybe some rubber off an inner tube or something, just to protect it. Try and give it a bit of a tweak, get it in the right place. It'll look better then. It'll look like a British bike. And it is a British bike. It's a 1973 on an M plate. It's had this little registration plate on it, which is far too small to me. It looks awful. So we ripped that off. See, all this has been powder coated, or wet coated. I think it's powder coat. So I'm getting the proper size plates for it, and they'll be yellow and white, because being late 73, it wouldn't have come out of the showroom with black and white plates on it. And I'll put one on the front as well. I like them on the front. Got one on the front of my other one. There we are. The old bacon slicers. That's what they call them, isn't it? It's a bit rude, but hey ho. So yeah, I'm going to do a few jobs on it. Maybe post this video, maybe not. And there you go. So thanks for watching, and bye for now. So here we are again. I'm working on the Gold SS, and as you can see, I've had the engine apart. I had a little play around with it. It kept oiling up the plug. It was spitting horrible smoke out of the exhaust. So I thought there's only one place that's coming from, and it's past the piston. And I was right, because when I got it apart, I've got them written down here actually. The ring gaps and the oil seal gaps are far too big. So at the moment, as you can probably see here, we're really looking for between 4 thou and 12, and we've got 13 on the top one, 18 on the bottom ring, and 20 on the oil seal. So it wouldn't take much to squirt a bit of oil past that and into the combustion chamber. And that's where we're getting all the oil. And there was quite a bit when I took the exhaust down. There was quite a bit of oil, in unburnt oil in the exhaust. So not a good sign. But I'm working, looking around the bike. I really just wanted to do this video to show you what this bike's like. I love it. It's very good condition. Someone spent a lot of time and money on it. There's things I've got to do a few things. To me, that one of these nuts should be on the other side of the rim. There's a lot of work been going on in polishing it. Whether that needs lacquering or not, I don't know. Although it's been kept in a sort of slightly damp barn. This bit hasn't been affected, so maybe it's already lacquered. Some of the parts, which have clearly just been cleaned off, have gone rusty. So I've been going round some of them. I mean, I'll be taking this out, this bolt soon, check the brakes and what have you, and I shall just clean this up with a wire brush. I mean, just oil it. Just put oil on it. But as we look around it, the condition of it, it's got lots of lovely new paint on it, and that tank's awesome. The mark on there, I know it's just grease, so it is nice. It's all been sprayed the right colours. Now, I think that's the original rear mudguard. Somebody's undersealed it, I think. Now, whether that was undersealed from new, who knows? It's good condition on the outside. Brackets have all been painted. It's got new indicators on it, which is that's a shame. They look nice. They're not standy ones, obviously. It's now got a new registration plate on it, which I've made up myself. It makes it look a lot more as it would have done when it was new. The seat cover, it's not a proper Honda one, but it do for now. Well, not for now, it is what it is. There's a lock on it for the helmet, and I should probably take that off and paint it. It should be black. I've got the key for that. It's the same as the ignition key. Unfortunately, it doesn't fit the steering lock, but I think there's numbers on these steering locks, and you can get the keys made up or supplied. Chap on eBay does them. So just a little walk around. I moved that just to put it up. It was down here, and I just fancy putting it up there. What else we got? It's a bit cold this morning. I was working on it yesterday. It's a bit of a chilly morning. I've cleaned this up a little bit because it was rusty, and that plate there, polished that up and just put oil on it. But generally, it's a nice looking bike. We can get it running properly, which we will. It'll be a good one. I'm sure I'll be able to sell it and make a little bit of a profit on it as well. So that's it really. The bore, I don't know if this is the original Honda one. I get the feeling it might be. It's been painted up. The bore's good, but I want to get it measured, because if it's slightly worn in the middle, halfway down, then it might be worth doing a rebore on it. The piston is all good. To me it looks original, but I'm not too sure. But obviously when you put these rings in it, kept them in the order they came off, you've got these big gaps. So I could just change the rings and might have the problem solved. If not, we'll get a rebore and put an oversized piston in it, and she should be good. Yeah, there's all my little bits there. That's it really, just a little short update. Well, one thing, when whoever rebuilt it didn't put the chain back on here, which is a shame. So you can't, it hasn't got the little lever. Now whether it's worth me doing that or not, I don't know. It seems to be rubbing on something as well. So, I don't know. I don't think we're too worried about that. Because I don't want to start throwing too much money at it. It's a nice looking bike. I'm sure someone will buy it. I'll get a price on it when it's running and get it up on the old gum tree to start with, I think. Summer's coming along. Who knows? Right, so that's me for now. And hopefully, the next time I do a video on this, it'll be running. Okay. Okay, so here we are again, about a week later now. And I've had the bore checked out by Automotive Services in Northampton, and it checks out good. It's standard, but it was very glazed, so they honed it for me. I got a honer, but I thought I'll leave it with them. They're inspecting it anyway. So that's standard. I've bought a new piston. It seemed to be cheaper buying a new piston, and this is a good spec piston made in Japan with the rings and everything. What I did notice when I stripped it is that it had a new gaskets and everything, so I'm going to reuse these. I'll probably put a bit of well seal just around this lip here, but it's missing this seal for the high pressure oil. So I've ordered one of those from David Silver Spares, Honda Spares. That's on its way, but it won't stop me checking the gaps for the rings and assembling this part onto the bike today, which is what I'm going to do. So one thing I was going to say, apparently, I mean, these nuts on the valves here, I've always had one nut on the inside of the rim, one on the outside. These are quite loose actually, they're not even locked up. So I was going to take the tyre off and do that. Oh, sorry, you're not in camera shot there. Yeah, these are loose for some reason. But there's some people say you should do it as this is, only lock it up. So you tighten it down to the rim and put the lock nut on. Other people just have one and they back it up and put it on the cap there. Just nip it up to stop the cap coming off. But I've never known one of those come off. So what I'm going to do is what I've always done, which I will take the tyre off and fit that as I usually do. There should be a little dishwasher on the other end of the valve there, either bonded onto the inner tube or you put it up against the inner tube, and then it will be the nut which will go onto the rim, and then you tighten this down on the outside of the rim. And one thing I did notice on these tyres, I might have mentioned it before, the trouble is these videos I do them about every week, that the tyres are quite new, and it kind of indicates when there we are. So this is this tyre was made in 2020, the 29th week of 2020. So it's about the time that it was being restored, I suppose. So, you know, hasn't been a great time. It was a COVID bike, I expect. Somebody got bored and decided to rebuild their SS in COVID times. It's the same on the back with the valve, but also I noticed is the arrows the wrong way around, so I'll have to flip that tyre around anyway, because if that's going along that yeah, it'll be going that way, so the arrows are the wrong way around. I've taken the rack off and sorted this bracket out because it was not in the center, so the it was all pulled over that way, so I messed about a bit and sorted that out so it looks better. The rack was not a very nice rack, and it picked up on these bolts here, which interestingly enough had M4 screws going into the light, and it should be M5 if I remember rightly. So the only thing holding them in was the rack, this sort of pushing down on the threads. Anyway, we've got some proper bolts in there now. I've changed the bolt up there. That had an Allen bolt in it. So she's coming along. She's coming along as to how I like it. So the next thing for me today is I shall check the ring caps and adjust them if they're a little bit small, but hopefully they'll be okay. And I can put the ball back on, put the barrel back on, ready for when that seal comes. So that's it for now. Right, we just had the I've had the fuel tank off because the tap was leaking. When it was off, it was still seeping past, and it was because this washer was in there and it's a bit buggered. So I got a new one off of the David Silver spares, so Honda spares. And when I was putting it on, because it was actually on the bike when I was doing it, I drained the fuel as much as I could. I noticed the tap was a bit loose. It wasn't leaking around the seal, but it wasn't fully tight. So that's why I took the tank off. Make sure I didn't get any more fuel all over the engine than I had already. And it was a little, it just needed nipping up a bit, and it feels much better now, so hopefully that's it. It all looks in good condition. You know, this may be a new tap. Now whether it's Honda or not, I don't know, but it looks it. But there's a very nice shiny tank, and with the tank off, you can see the sort of condition that this frame's in. It's very nice. So whoever's going to own this after me is going to have a nice little moped. Right, let's get on. Well, here we are again, and she's running lovely. But it has taken a bit of messing about. I've rebuilt the engine, and I didn't do a video of that because there's quite a few on the YouTube. And if you want to watch an engine being stripped and rebuilt, or a nice little video by Alan Millard, I'd go for it. I'm going to put the link in the description. If I'm allowed to do that, I'll find out. And if I can do that, I'll pop it in there, because he's a good lad. He's a legend, actually. So I got it all rebuilt and came to start it up, and it did fire. Well, it did run for a little while, but it did seem a bit smoky still. Oh Christ! It appeared to be running rich, and when it stopped, I thought, what's going on? And to cut a long story short, for a start, the fuel filler wasn't breathing. It's a brand new fuel filler here, probably made out in Vietnam. I'm not sure where they make these parts now. I wouldn't have thought it was a Honda one, otherwise it would have worked. But there is a little breather hole, so I drilled another little breather hole, and I tried it again, still no good. So then I put a hole in just in the top here, just a small hole, and it was enough to make it work. Because I swapped filler caps. There's a proper Honda one on there, put it on here, and it wasn't getting a vacuum in the tank, so I knew what the problem was. And then when I did get it running with the original carb, first of all the little float needle was sticking, and it wasn't the proper float in there. It was one of these modern plastic ones. And I had an old carburetor off one of these, so I swapped that over the old metal floats, and that was okay, but sometimes it was sticking. And then we looked at the jets were right for it according to the book, but I was a bit suspect about the actual needle valve, the main valve that goes with the slide. And there was a couple of different size slides I had. The one on there seemed too small, and in the end I thought, I'm getting wound up here, we'll leave it alone. And I went away and I ordered one of these Chinese carbs for £15, and I had to get the manifold as well, because the carb's got a different angle on the manifold. So for £30 I took a risk, and I bolted it on there, and it started up no problem straight away. It was a different engine. I hardly had to adjust it. I don't think I even adjusted the mixture screw. It ticks over lovely. I had to give it a bit of adjust the slide, and it revved up, and I went out on it, and it was fine, and it bogged down. I thought, oh Christ. But I came straight back, and I took the air filter off, and went out on it again, and it was fine. It was pulling away, it's got plenty of power for a 50cc. So then I looked at the pipe, which, for the carburetor, and had a restrictor in it. I ought to get the, I'll get the camera down, show you this new carb. Right, so there's my new Chinese carb, and this rubber here had a restrictor in it, and quite small. And I think it may, well, it's obviously not a Honda SS one. It may be off one of these restricted monkey bikes, I think. So I cut the restrictor out and bolted it all back together with the air filter on it, and it's fine. I've been bombing up and down my mate's got a farm with a tarmac drive on it, and bombing up and down there, and it's great. I managed to get just over 30 before I ran out of drive. So I think she's good for 40 mile an hour. Like my one's good for 35, 40 mile an hour. Sometimes 42 if you're going downhill. So yeah, I'm well happy, and it's great. I've enjoyed working on it, but she's got to go now because I didn't buy it for myself. So just a bit of a recap. I readjusted that exhaust to make it sit like a British spec one, and I think I talked about that earlier. As you go around it, I took the rack off because that's an awful thing. This has been recovered, so it looks all right from a distance, but if you look close, it's not quite in the middle. But it's fine for now. Tank's beautiful. Whoever painted that, Christ, they were good. It's lovely. There's a lot of new bits on it, indicators and everything. It's got new wheel rims and spokes. The frame's all been painted nice. It's a great bike, and it suit somebody who wants to stick it on a shelf in their man cave. It would be good, or just get out and use it, which is what I would do. What was the other thing I was going to say? Oh yeah, if I was going to keep it, I think I wouldn't do too much to it from where we are at the moment. I'd get a set of Honda pedals for it. I think these are mountain bike pedals. You can't get them on the internet. Those little ones, like that one down there. I've actually got a spare one, but it's a bit worn out on the end. Came off as an old PC50. But I think I would change those and maybe get a new seat cover for it, sit and fit that properly. What else would I do with it? Oh, great deal. It's a nice bike. So I'm now going to just fire her up, and then I shall get the missus to do a video of me riding up and down the road, and then get this video edited and get it on the YouTube. So it should fire straight away, whether it will. If we put the fuel on, a little bit of choke. I'm not going to give it full choke. Ignition. I'm just going to give it a tiny little bit of throttle. She wanted to. Come on. Smelly in there. Open the door. Petrol fumes, exhaust fumes, not oil. So there we go. switch that off. Funny tap on it. It's works the opposite way to that. So when this one's off, this one's on reserve. Oh, strange. Anyway, so that's it. I'll get the missus to give me a little video going up and down the road, and we go from there. So here we are, outside, ready for a bit of a run. Let's just do it. Fuel on. Give it a choke. Give it some choke. Because it's cold. And ignition. Come on, keep going. Smoke, camera girl.
Didn't see any.
Excellent. Well, I think she's fixed.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm well pleased. So, thumbs up for everyone, to everyone that's watched my video channel, especially that Spiffy, that cheeky Spiffy boy. And bye for now.